Deep breath for this full moon. Deep breath. Welcome, you guys. We're going to be talking about the full moon in Libra happening on April 1st. Very interesting day for a full moon to land. In this video, we're going to be breaking down what this full moon is all about, how it is moving through our lives, the different parts and pieces that are connected to this full moon, and just really getting to the underbelly of it. For those of you who are new here, I'm Izzy. I go by Astremia here. On my other account, I go by 8th House Mercury. You may know me there, where I do channeled messages like almost daily. I have some things to share with you. I don't know why I'm saying it's fine. I don't cut my stuff out. This all one take, by the way, for my new folks. A couple of things, because I always like to challenge myself to share what I'm doing. Otherwise, you guys have no idea what I'm doing. It's always a weird thing to like share. Maybe that's just me. Anyways, I have a newsletter. It's called Letters from the 8th House, where I write in depth about all these things. You'll want to subscribe to it because I'm going to be diving deeper into this full moon and how it's going to be like really connecting with you on a personal level. So definitely subscribe there. That's going to be coming out on the 31st. So if you're seeing this by the time I posted it, it's going to be out the next day. And I have a community. It's called the House of Celestial Magic. It's a community space for like-minded individuals. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of events. April events are going to be announced tomorrow. So if you're ready, come join. And my natal chart readings, all of my offerings are going to be listed down below. So if you've yet to have your soul blueprint read, I would love the opportunity to dive into your chart. Okay, let's dive in. So as always, full moons are when the moon is at a peak illumination. It's creating a 180-degree opposition from the sun to the moon. That's how we see it, because the sun is creating a giant illuminated full moon. Okay, I love just telling you guys how it is. So this full moon is landing at 12 degrees of Libra. So it's kind of like right there in the middle, almost about 15 degrees. So with this full moon, as always, full moons are all about culmination. It is a point where all the energy has reached a peak. I always like to kind of add in the aspects of like, if you've ever worked in like retail or in the medical industry, these times tend to be a little bit crazier because there's heightened energy. If we think about the like actual primal aspect of a full moon, we can't see at night. So when the moon is full, we have a bit clearer of a vision. Now, it's not obviously like it is in the daytime, but it is clearer, the images, and we can see the outlines of things. Though this makes me think of the moon card in tarot, which is like, are you really seeing what you're seeing? Is it an illusion, or is it actually like a bear in the woods, or is it just a stump and some leaves? So anyways, I'm not sure why I shared that, but it felt important to add. Now, this full moon is really bringing our attention to connection, to relationship, to how we interact with others. Specifically, Libra rules over the space of harmony, justice, relationship balance, finding equilibrium. And we need to add in the fact that the sun is in Aries, which is all about independence, all about self, all about me, which is needed. Now, the two of these are sister signs for a reason, because our whole goal is to find that balance between wise selfishness and contributing to our relationships, right? We are social creatures at the core. We need others around us to really create that level of fulfillment, right? We can't do it on our own. Community is important. And so we've got a lot of planets in Aries right now, which has been having us like really embark on this new journey of choosing self, of really like putting yourself first. Now, this full moon in Libra is bringing our attention to the subconscious processing that happens around connection. The moon represents our unconscious mind, these parts of us that are kind of on autopilot. And so when we have these full moons, it's kind of this like all the light is being shed on this part of your chart, wherever Libra lands for you. So we're getting a deeper glimpse at how do we relate to people? How do we connect to people? What is, actually underneath the surface of our connections? And is it fulfilling to this new identity that we've been cultivating with all of these planets in Aries? So I'm not going to lie, this full moon is going to be pretty tender. Tender, tender, tender. It's like, yeah. I feel a part of me is like nervous to talk about this because I know a lot of people may take it in like a fear way, but I always like to enter astrology from the lens of opportunity. And so that's how I'm going to phrase all of this. Of course, you are your own person and you can navigate it however you want. So this full moon is really creating tension around like where you feel you're too much, where you're not enough, where you've been too selfish, where you've been like over reliant on your connections to fulfill you. So it really is like everything is being laid bare when it comes to self and connection, which is really tense. I'm like, the feeling that came up in my body, it's just like irritating a little bit where all this Aries energy has just been like, well, I'm like finally putting myself first for the first time. And there's this newer edge of our identity that's emerging that's like ready to kind of like be seen. But this Libra energy is sort of pointing out the parts of us that are still following old patterns when it comes to connection. And this new version of ourselves is like different at the end of the day. There needs to be balance. So I keep kind of like skirting around what this full moon is ruled by. And so I'm going to put that card up here. This full moon is ruled by the Three of Swords. That's why I'm like, I feel this, but I really see this in such a beautiful way because we've been sort of excavating these past pains and addressing them. And this full moon is one of those moments where it's like, you can't hide these past hurts. You can't hide self-betrayal and or betrayal from another, right? The Three of Swords is really like choosing to pierce through the storminess, right? You can see in the background of the card, there's like this storm happening. And it's interesting what came through when I was looking at this card prior to actually starting this video. I'm seeing these swords as past, present, future, where it's almost like past wounds that are still healing, present wounds that are aching right now, and then future perceived wounds, like what could happen, right? The unknown, right? This is this space of heartbreak, betrayal, delusion, hurt, loss, confusion too. And so what I really feel with this full moon is we're getting the opportunity to look at matters of the heart, matters of relating to the heart and relationship in a way that we are addressing them from this newly emerging identity. We're getting the opportunity to remove the swords. That's kind of how it felt when I was talking about it on my live stream, where it's like, how long do you want to live with these three swords in your heart, right? I feel like this is a heartbreak or pain points, depending on where this is landing in your chart, that has been very attached to a previous version of yourself. Where almost as though when you look at this part of you, this tender wound or wounds within your heart, it's like, yeah, those, for some of you, it's like this realization that some of these wounds have surfaced from self-infliction, where you're choosing not to like embark into love because of past pain. For some of you, it's recognizing that connection that you're in is actually not fulfilling your identity. For some, it's very unique. And I need to add in this other layer here because it's all playing together. As always, I can't really talk about everything. Like I try to talk about it at an individual level, but this full moon landing in the second decan of Libra is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn's in Aries. And if you missed my Saturn in Aries YouTube video, it's on my channel. But Saturn in Aries is really teaching us to slow the fuck down. To slow down, guys, because Aries energy wants to go fast, fast, fast. Connection, quick things. It's this energy of like expression at its rawest form. Though Saturn is here to sort of temper the energy and actually create a level of discipline. And so with this full moon in Libra being ruled by Saturn, it's really like actually wanting you to look at this Three of Swords, to look at the pain, to look at where you've compromised your energy, where you've been compromised, where you let love in that doesn't resonate, where you're not letting love in at all because of past pain. Like, it really is this like juxtaposition of like, how do you build if you're still holding on to your pain? If you desire connection, friendships, partnerships, business, wherever this is landing for you, if you desire connection in those areas, you have to take a look at where you are still rolling around in the pain of betrayal. And again, I keep reiterating betrayal from you or betrayal from others. And my guess is if you're deeply, deeply honest with yourself, you're going to recognize that betrayal has come from both sides, where you haven't been living in alignment with yourself of your true expression, or where you've been manipulating by people pleasing. And I say that very raw because people pleasing is a form of manipulation where you're trying to get your needs met or meeting other people's needs by pretending to be somebody you're not. And that is dishonest, and that's manipulation. Moving forward, there's another configuration with this full moon that creates more tension, right? That's why I've been like, but we have a square happening from the sun and the moon to Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees. And if you see me looking off, I'm looking at the chart I have up here. Guys, Jupiter in Cancer has been really testing our capacity to be nourished within emotions, to be nourished within those deeply fulfilling, like, emotional bonds that come up. Cancer is all about the mother, right? All about that like first connection to a person, which comes from the mother. And at a deeper level, this is like your own connection to your own internal mother. Like, are you nourishing yourself? Are you pouring into yourself so that when you continue to pour into yourself, it overflows to those around you? And so this tension that comes from the moon in Libra to this Cancer Jupiter energy, it's like there is a part of you that wants to really share this overflow of love. But then there's also this square that's happening to the sun that says, oh no, we need to like let that pour into ourselves. We can't share it, where it gets a little selfish. And this tension is creating the opportunity to look at where you are being asked to find balance. At the end of the day, this is all about finding equilibrium. And I'm here to tell you from the softest place of my heart is that it's trial and error, my friends. Like, one day it's going to feel really good. The next day it's going to feel like maybe you compromised yourself. My invitation to you guys is to just notice those things, write them down, and see them, love them, hold them, let it go. And a new day is a new day. We don't have to cling to things. It's okay to feel and release, okay? And that's really where it's like, I'm seeing almost like you sitting with each sword within this tarot card, within this sort of expression of pain, and like letting yourself feel it, feel the frustration, feel the anger of the betrayals of your past. But it's time to like not let that define any potential connections that are coming in as we move forward, as you're embarking into this new identity. Now, the way I've been perceiving this whole configuration that we have here with the sun in Aries, Jupiter in Cancer, the moon in Libra, those are all cardinal signs. And the point in which these cardinal signs release is the one cardinal sign that we've yet to mention here, which is also rules over Saturn, which is Capricorn. That's our release valve for all of this, is Capricorn energy, which is what do you desire long term when it comes to building legacy and how you wish to feel in relationships and to feel in yourself and to feel in that deeper connection of like emotional terrain. And Capricorn is all about building something that lasts beyond you. You are creating a new blueprint for yourself to operate in connection, to operate in your identity, to operate in your core feelings. And Capricorn here is like, yeah, let's build a solid foundation for this, for ourselves, for I keep hearing like letting your heart be known at where it's at now. And bringing in Saturn again, because this is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn rules over Capricorn. We peek back at Saturn and Aries, and again, this is tempering you to slow down, to allow your new identity to begin to unfold, to allow the old things to fall away. So this full moon is really a massive release of old toxic patterns within relationship, within connection, within how you perceive good and evil, right? That's very Libra, where it's like this diplomatic energy of comparing sides, comparing and contrasting different points of view, where you can get caught up in the rat race of like, well, this couple is doing it this way, maybe I should do that. But what is true to you? That's what this comes down to, is like, in this present moment, what feels true to you in your expression? So the Saturn in Aries really is just this deeper invitation to slow down, to let yourself evolve, to let yourself release what is holding you captive when it comes to really honing in on this new expression. Now, I feel this deeper invitation to kind of call you guys into ritual if you're interested in that, meaning like if you like to practice things, or just a release ritual, which full moons are all about releasing things. And what kind of came through for me thinking about this is almost like each sword in the tarot card representing a past part of you or a past pain, like, and writing it down. For some of you, it might be really beautiful to reflect on past relationships and to look at where you have been playing a role that you actually don't want to. So you can start to get clear on who you are, right? And another edge that's coming is maybe ask the people around you who are in your inner circle, like, how do you view me? Like, what's your perception of me? Because sometimes we can get really caught up in here. That's that Libra energy, the mental realm of like, who even am I, right? Who we think we are is very different than who we actually are. And it's really good to invite reflection from the people around us and being like, hey, like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Like, I would love to like feel that like perception and that reflection there. And even having heart to heart led conversations on this day. It might feel a little triggering, but the clarity that comes after I in the card, I'm seeing like the storm clearing. It's like, you got to get this off your chest, is that feeling, whether it's to you or to somebody else. So if you want deeper insight about this full moon, I'm going to be writing all of that in my Substack. Rising sign breakdowns are going to be in there too. Yes, I've moved those into my Substack because it's very precious how deep I go into that, and that integrity and honoring what I'm doing and what I'm building is like chef's kiss when you guys are supporting me there. I do want to say, in the thread and the vein of vulnerability, I've been sharing and am continuing to share I've been reflecting on relationship myself, which is why this full moon is so amusing to me. And I just dropped my first part of my series, 14 years of rose-collared glasses, is going to be linked down below. It's a very vulnerable share of me and my experience with Neptune transiting my 7th house of relationships. It's intense. More parts are coming. I've been getting such sweet comments, so thank you to those of you who have been supporting me on this journey. I'm going to leave this video here. I love you guys. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe to support me in all of my work here. I love you guys.